Peck Indian Reservation. I was born where Canada, North Dakota, Montana come together. My father went on to become an OB/GYN for 50 years. He spent his last couple of years working for Planned Parenthood in Arizona. My youngest of three sisters is an OB/GYN back in Minneapolis. So obviously this women's healthcare freedom is obviously super, super important to me. Super important to everyone in this room. We're in good shape here in Colorado. That's not the case across the country when you don't have that counties. I ended up growing up in Walsenburg. I went to school in Minneapolis. I grew up there from kindergarten through 18. I did a little ski racing. That's how I ended up in the University of Colorado in Boulder. Went out to study economics. Went out to New York City on a bit of a whim. Waited tables for about a year. Then got involved in socially responsible investing, working for a money manager for a couple of years. Then I spent about 8 years traveling the world, involved in international finance and currencies and interest rates. I went to about 50 countries, did business in about another 50. A lot of time in Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. Went through a lot of 9/11 funerals at the end of the day, and that's how I ended up to kind of reset, come out to Colorado, on a gal on the Western Slope, and I thought that Aspen would be a good place for us to get involved in business community. And I've been there since 2003. I got into home building and construction. Spent 8 years on the city council, mostly working on affordable housing. That's why I ran. And a couple of years ago, it was pretty much these kind of resort communities, true resort communities that were dealing with affordable housing. And obviously, as I'm learning around now, there's affordable housing issues in Alamosa, affordable housing issues in Walsenburg, and Pueblo, and Grand Junction. It's not just a couple of these towns where we're just completely inundated by tourists and stuff like that. So these are conversations I'm having with Republican as well as Democratic county commissioners and the city council and stuff. So having an understanding of what goes on in a city leadership role, I think can be very, very helpful in DC. I got out in 2019. My wife ended up getting on our school board. She's now the president of our school board. My 16-year-old son, Felix, is here. I think some of you know him. He's running our volunteer coordination. We're big on education. I got my substitute teaching license. I'm a para member. When COVID started, kids need to be in the classroom almost at all costs. And I'm a big believer in that. Felix, having said that, Felix is taking a year off of high school to work full-time in the campaign. He's in charge he's rounding up 125 college interns across the country. They're making phone calls 2 hours a day. Due to technology and telephone calling, they're dialing about 5,000 or 10,000 numbers a day. And so we're working very, very hard. So in addition to the financial support, which is great, there's ways to make phone calls and door knocking and let us know through volunteer stuff. He's at felix@adamsforcolorado.com. We did a Beep Over barbecue tour. We were at the barbecue joint down the street at the start. We did a Beep Over brewery tour. Now we're on a town hall tour. Something that our the woman in office right now has never done. She's never actually stood in front of citizens and just taken questions from anybody. And she doesn't even talk to the local press at all. We don't even spend any time really talking about her, but I will say this. What got me excited about this race in November, from a frustrated standpoint of excitement, was how bad she is as a congressperson. And she doesn't focus on the district. But two, she's electorally weak, and this is the message that's finally getting through. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, Paul Gosar, they all had 65 to 75% wins in 2020 in the general election. Boebert only got 51% of the vote. Did not win her home county. Those who know her best do not care for her. She did not win her own county. There are very, very few people sitting in the halls of Congress that did not win their own county, couldn't even get 2/3 of the vote in the primary. Don Coram, some of you probably voted for him, switch parties. It's all great. But Don Coram got 36% of the vote in the Republican primary. We need about a third or a fourth of those voters, and we're getting them. We've launched the Republicans for Frisch website. It's up and running. Super excited about that. We've been running some great ads about her horrible voting record on veterans and women's health care decisions, and just a bunch of other extremist voters that she's had. When I started this race, in July we did a poll. We were down 7 points, and even then people were surprised that we weren't down by more, given this district is about 8 or 9, it leads about 8 or 9 points for Republicans. We just had a poll. The reason I got on MSNBC a couple of days ago, and the reason we raised $250,000 for 2.5 days this week, is we just released a new poll, and we're literally statistically tied with Lauren Boebert. We are 2 points behind. And she is freaking out. She was supposed to be, for some reason, she was going to go to Alaska to champion Sarah Palin. The question I asked was, how does it help a single person in our district when she's in Alaska? And she just canceled that trip. And she was supposed to be in some other places around the country as well. She's canceling the trip. She's showing back up. She's getting out of the fancy clothes, back into her jeans and flannel that she was giving me crap about doing. And so she's realizing that there's actually a race in her hand. And I've always been said since day one, this is going to be the emotional win for the country, not just the Democratic Party. Because I wish there were other ways to defeat all these other extremists in office. And God bless the Democrats that are running against Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan. But it's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, I wish it was. But we're making this, again, the emotional win for the country. I was just talking to the AP. I'm in touch with all sorts of national news now. And it's not about me, it's just about there's a ground upswell. The district, again, is 25D, 31R, and 43 unaffiliated. So I've been saying since day one, the Democrats, we cannot do it by ourselves. We need independent voters, which I was for the last 20 years, and we're going to get a bunch of Republicans, and that's why we started this Republican for website. I think someone said, from Restore the Balance, which is this great organization off Main Grand Junction, that put together, it's bipartisan, it's trying to get rid of the extremists on both sides. They have about 2,500, 2,700 members right now, and I was very proud to get endorsed by them. I got an 86 or 87. I'm a little bummed about a B+, but she got 27 in her survey about how to be a bipartisan level member of Congress. There's a ranking by the Lugar Center in Georgetown. It ranks the bipartisanship of every Congress member. She's 433 out of 435. Right? And my goal is to be in the top 10. Because no matter what happens, hopefully we can hold on to this, boost up the Senate by a seat or two and hold on to the House. The only way we're going to get things done is in a bipartisan manner. Her and her mentor, Marjorie Taylor Greene, are the leaders of what I call the anger-tainment industry. Right? Yelling and screaming for television and Twitter and doing nothing for the people in her district, even those that voted for her. So, I've been telling people if there was a Get Stuff Done party, I'd be the Get Stuff Done party. And I've been saying that for 20 years. The Get Stuff Done party, which is like the Restore the Balance group, we're just not getting things done in how we should be. We've had some good results over the past couple of months, but there's a lot more to do. And one of the things that needs to change is a representative needs to go into DC and bring home a lot of the taxes that we all pay to DC. Because if we're not bringing it back here, it's showing up in Denver, or Detroit, or New York City, or San Francisco. So I think CD3 deserves our fair share for money to come back for infrastructure, and that's in broadband, that's in mental health care, human infrastructure. We need to see more money in the county health departments to let those county health department leaders figure out where that money should go. We need to see more money for rural education funding and let those local leaders figure out how that money should be invested. It's local control, but we need to have some of that tax base that we all pay and work very hard for to come back here, and that's not being done. She's saying no to everything. Except the chance to go on television or to go on a tour. We were at the Bell game, the big historical football game up in Pueblo, and I was at this great Veterans Foundation in Pueblo with the veterans there, and she was having a fundraiser. Matt Gates came into town to Pueblo, Colorado to work with her, and she's spending a lot of time down in Texas in some of these extremist organizations that she's championing. So she's just not focused on the district. We'll leave it at that, but the thing I want to tell everyone, thank you so much. We get kudos for running, but it's really the boots on the ground that's going to get the job done. And I know there's a lot of people that are working really, really hard, so I really want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We're statistically tied. We're getting news. I stopped in Denver on the way and actually had to spend time with Hakeem Jeffries, Dan and DeJet, and Jason Crow, and the news, and everyone's realizing in DC and in Denver that this race is in play, and nobody can believe it. But it's all the hard work that we've been doing, the money that's come in to run our ads. We're very excited about that. So Larry, thank you again for everything you do.
Any questions you might have of Adam? We've got about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we'll go for that.
So any questions? Burritos, coffee,
a lot of those ads that we made were made out in the Guerra Ranch. So thank you guys very much.
More from County.
I just wanted to say, Adam, I watched you debate on the computer. Thank you for being calm. Thank you for being concise. Thank you for not getting trapped into her way of dealing with people. and keep up the good work, and have you convinced her that she needs to debate you again?
So we keep on challenging her debates, and she says, she keeps on saying no. She did accept one other debate, the League of Conservation of Women Voters. We're going to be doing a Zoom call on the 12th of October at 5:30 or 6 o'clock.
Okay.
But I wanted to do some more a town hall debate actually, and have 45 minutes of a moderator and then 45 minutes of open mic. I said we could go to Rifle, Colorado. There's some extra empty space after her restaurant closed down. I said I'd be happy to talk about energy. I'd be happy to talk about Second Amendment. Like anywhere, anytime, I'll talk to anybody. I've been on 3 conservative talk radio up in Denver on KOA. They've been interesting conversations. And I've been on XM radio with some more liberal people as well. So I'm talking to everybody. That's really, really important. That's how we're building our coalition.
Good job.
Thank